Let's leave the front office and focus on operations workflows. As operations teams prepare for T+1, there's mounting pressure to minimize the number of unsettled trades, mitigate risks, and process increasing trading volumes. Symphony's secure and open architecture enables operations teams to automate non-core tasks and comply with a shorter settlement cycle.
Absolutely, John. And actually, it's quite topical. Let's try and move things on very quickly because T+1 is just over a year away. So thank you.
Indeed it is.
Okay. Now, on to our next demo, this time by FIA Tech, an exchange-traded derivative industry technology provider who'll be showing us live how they have integrated their Databank network into Symphony through the introduction of the new FIA Tech bot, which has been built in joint development with Richard Ring from the Symphony Professional Services team. So please join me in welcoming onto the stage Richard and Andrew.
Jump on the other side.
Good afternoon, and thank you, Symphony, for having me out here today.
Pleasure.
FIA Tech, over the past few years, has been rolling out a lot of initiatives, especially helping in the post-trade world. And today, we really want to focus on the Databank network. The Databank network brings together the ISV community, the exchanges, the clearinghouses, the data providers, all into an interoperable network aimed at simplifying reference data. Now, the industry has been pushing for operational efficiency, reduction in cost, and improvements in the workflow, which is why I really want to announce our partnership with Symphony and our first FIA Tech chatbot. Now, to set the scene for today, it's going to be a day in the life of someone in the back office, as many of you know. It's very, very manual, being able to scan dozens and dozens of websites, aggregate that data, take that data, then put it into an operating system. People do this day on day. And so what we want to show is how our bot is going to help alleviate some of those pain points today. And Richard is going to be playing the role of our operational operator or analyst and going through exchange feed data in the ETD world. And for those that don't know, feed data is very, very complex and very, very manual. There's only a handful of exchanges that actually provide data feeds for this type of data. So there's firms across the globe right now that have teams set up dedicated to aggregate this data and punch it into their operating system. What we're going to demo today is how he's able to use our query and the data set that FIA Tech has built to be able to alleviate those pain points. Richard, if you don't mind taking them through.
Pleasure. So Min is my demo runner in the back. Obviously, I'm not hands-on at the moment. So this is the FIA Tech bot. You join a chat room with it. It brings up a pinned message with some introductory buttons, effectively. So you can click on Basic Query. I'm in back office, and I want to query some data. I would go here first. And what this will do is bring up a set of data that I am exposed to. So this chatbot is hosted and run by Symphony. And we give Andrew's team access to select particular parts of the data set and give that access to particular users based on their email or their user ID.
Yeah, and to interject really quick. So, typically today the way I've seen it with our clients is there's internal hurdles of being able to access the data. So reaching out to your tech teams, reaching out to someone else in operations, or when client service needs an answer immediately, it's emails pinging back and forth. So what we want to do is remove those hurdles. And as long as you have access to FIA Tech's data feeds and you're on Symphony, initiate that conversation, data's at the tip of your fingers.
That's right. So today we're going to look at the exchange fees data, and we're going to click View. And this will bring up a table with some headers. If we scroll up, it's a lot of data. I'm only interested in Eurex today. So I'm going to actually do some filtering on the exchange for Eurex, the contract for stocks, STOXX, and the trade type. I'm interested in regular trades. Regular trade, no S. There we go. And I'll click the refresh, and this will update the data set for me. Now, that's great. And I've got everything, but it's a lot of data.
Yeah. And I was going to say, managing data on a day-to-day, it's great to be able to query the data set, but you need to know what's been changed, what's been added, what's been updated, what's being removed, which is why we introduced the notification functionality. And what this notification functionality allows is users to subscribe to different levels of the data set. So if you're interested in looking at European markets or North American markets or specific markets within that region or product or asset classes, you're able to do so and help out your process within operations.
That's right. So in fact, if we go down to the bottom, you've got the option to download this data, but also to save the query. So if we save this query, we'll call it UX stocks fees. What this will do is it will save under our quick query function, which basically lets you bring up queries that you've saved in the past. Also exposes some topical filters that you've provided to some of your customers. These are selective to the user, and then you can bring up the same chart. But that's great when you need to go and find it yourself. For the notifications that Andrew just asked for, we needed the notification function. So we'll close this, open up the notification button, and then we'll make a new notification here. Now we get two options for creating notifications. One is to be fed that report that we had just seen at a particular time of the day, or we can be told when the data changes. So we're going to name this one UX stocks fees notifier. And then we'll select the data set that we're interested in, which is the exchange data set again. So we'll click data set for the radio button, and then click next. We'll select exchange fees data. We'll save this. Now for purpose of demo, it's not 7:30 Eastern, so we had to can a notification just to give you an idea of what it would look like. But this would normally pop up as soon as the data underlying changed. So whenever new data comes in, our bot is pulling that SFTP location, ingesting, doing the delta, and coming up with color-coded changes. What's been removed, what's been added within the entire record, but also within an individual item itself.
Right, and that'll help kick off some internal workflows, outside of exchange fees, looking at new contracts that are being introduced, position limits that are changing, things of that nature that are very operational. This is going to help alleviate some of those pain points.
That's our hope.
So,
Go ahead,
I guess
there's a demo you could.
To recap, we went through our initiative with Databank Network. We went through our new bot that we've introduced, really helping the operational analyst on their day-on-day. And I guess stay tuned for phase 2 of this bot.
Yeah. It's live and ready within a month, so we should be up and running in the next 2 weeks.
Thank you for that, both of you. I think it was really insightful, and I think we all learned quite a lot about what you've been working on, so thank you for that. 2 questions come to mind, time permitting. The first is, why did FIA Tech build the bot in the first place, Andrew?
Data accessibility, for sure. My previous life, I was in operations. I know how big of a pain it is, especially to get some of the data values. And then the other part is, FIA Tech has about 8,000 customers worldwide. Across 10 different countries. And so being able to get our hands in front of them as part of our initiative is Databank everywhere. So wherever our clients are, that's where we want to be.
Okay, thank you. And just the last question that we have, what are some of the data feeds that you support already today?
So part of the initiative, when we kicked it off a few years ago, we built out partnerships from data providers, regulators, exchanges, clearinghouses. We've grown our data set to about over 15 services that follow the product from the day it's listed to the day it's delisted. So information around the contract itself at both the root level, the instrument level, those regulatory classifications that you look at, to cross-reference symbology, at least that's what we call it, which are the various different vendor symbologies, being able to create that Rosetta Stone of saying, okay, here's the vendor's ticker and here's what it represents on the exchange, which is one of the biggest pain points in the industry right now. And then exchange event management. And what I mean by exchange event management, like the exchange fees that we were going through today, those are things that are being published on websites, on circulars. So we've rolled out, exchange fees, position limits, corporate actions, collateral management, being able to identify haircuts. So a lot of things that are really helping the clients in their post-trade world.
Great. Okay. So with that, thank you so much.
Thank you.